it is wonderful to be able to spend some time with you again. I'm going to get right into it today. And last time we had an opportunity to start to think around property risk. What are some of the challenges? What are some of the opportunities that you have with PRI? I'd love, though, just to explore, first of all, we've been really focused on thinking around climate change and property risk. Talk to us around how is it that these are both so heavily related, and are they heavily related?
That's, I mean, such a huge question, but let me try and give you some kind of brief answer. So the very essence of a property is physical. And it is located in a unique location. There is not another house the same. We know that ground soils, weather, climate, all vary from place to place. And ultimately, we spoke last time about the issue of data and so what. The question we have to ask is, which physical risks really impact the saleability and the value and the insurability of a home? Yeah. That's the essence.
And I guess that's I know we touched on last time about that education piece around. So is it around the education so that people are able to see these links even clearer?
It's about both education and then responding to what you know. You can be educated, but if you then ignore the facts, you ignore the data, you're no better off. Yeah. You know, today, people will know a property may be or may not be subject to flood, or subject to subsidence, or subject to something else. But the actual value of our homes and the credit worthiness of our homes are not reflecting that knowledge yet. Now, that is something that will begin to happen as our weather, and we've seen so much of it, let's be honest, right across Europe, and in the last few weeks alone, lots of examples. People won't be able to ignore it anymore. People won't be able to ignore the fact that government will have to tax and will have to credit individuals for making behavioral changes and spending money to change the way their properties not exist, but how their properties work for them. And this is all linked together.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you're so right. It's one thing knowing about it or educating, but then it's okay, so how are we responding and helping people, I guess, with that response as well. So we've started, and we've done a couple of videos already ourselves together, and you have a number of other online resources that are being developed. How does that link into that education and helping people to respond? What are you looking to achieve with the online resources available through PRI?
I mean, first and foremost, it's trying to get to the honesty. The hazards, the environmental perils, the issues that can happen to our homes. And let's face it, our homes are everything to us. We've sunk a huge amount of effort and money and risk and liability personally into owning a home. Lenders have enormous portfolios of risk. And there is a danger that words like subsidence or storm or coastal erosion create all sorts of horror stories. And I was talking to a lender last night who said to me, well, Graham, what happens when the Thames barrier fails? And I said, well, you won't be worrying about your house in Putney then. You'll be worrying about the social existence as we know it of the whole of the UK and actually most of Europe. So people have got a completely wrong set of understanding that there's a lot of pictures. Any story about climate change will show you with a house up to 5 foot deep in water and people in dinghies. Well, the bottom line is that still only a tiny number of our properties will be subject to any more risk of significance than they are today. And what we're trying to do within our videos, within our education, is align the data to the reality, and align the data and reflect on the fact that we have the best possible insurance market in the UK that mitigates this risk. That's not to say there isn't risk, but it has to be understood and acknowledged for what it is.
Yeah, absolutely, completely. Even when you're talking there, we sometimes can get very blinded by a lot of the data and how it's chosen to be presented to us, whether that's through news or other mediums as well. Yeah. So tell me this, if we fast forward to 5 years, where is it that you think the industry needs to be?
Okay. We need to have clarity on a single point of truth about property. You may have heard the term open banking.
Yeah.
Now, open banking really means that you have an opportunity to take all your clothes off in front of a bank and say, look, you can see all of me. You can see all of me. And on that basis, make me offers that are all about me and my behavior. And what we want to do in PRI is to forward the idea of open property. Let's be really clear that everybody understands what that property looks like when you strip it open. What are its risks? What are its opportunities? What are the costs associated with changing its gas boiler to an air source heat pump? What is its opportunity to make it less resilient or more resilient than it is today? So that, in a nutshell, open property brings transparency to the property in the same way that open banking brings transparency to you. And you can put your clothes back on now.
I was about to say, so what I'm taking from this is PRI. So thinking about, other than taking my clothes off, but for PRI, what is it that PRI is able to offer that really is going to support open property?
It's an honesty in data, trying to find the best data, trying to find the data that is not driven by other vested interests and the opportunity to sell something else at the back of it. If something has a risk, let's be honest about it and deal with it at the start, because the property won't sell if you don't. And if it hasn't really got a risk, then let's not use lots of amber light. In lending, amber is a bloody nuisance because nobody knows what to do with amber. Do I stop? Do I go? Do I ask questions? Who do I ask the questions of? You know, you want to have green and red. You want to say, that's not for us, it's outside our appetite. Green, yes, it is for us, let's get on with it. You know, so it's about dealing with the ambers at the start, getting them green, or admitting that there will be red forever. But somebody will have an appetite for those properties. And the issue is they'll have a margin as reflective of the risk they want to take. Yeah. And just in the same way that, you know, the individual would be risky and people have a business aligned to making credit decisions around those people. That's what they do.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, I think we could go on and on talking about this. So thank you so much once again. And these bite-sized videos, they are there to educate, to allow the clothes to be taken off of property, and an opportunity to start these conversations, because I think actually having conversations and asking questions is such an important part of this as well. So thank you so much for your time once again, Graham.
Pleasure. See you soon. Bye.
See you soon.